our next special segment.
Yes, the moment you have all been waiting for. 2020 NFL Awards in Week 14, or I guess now technically Week 15. So we're just going to be having a bunch of different things, a lot like MVP, Roy, Coach of the Year, etc. So I say we get started on more of the insignificant ones. So let's get started with the worst coach / GM of the year. Do you want me to go first? Any objections?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can all talk. We can all say ours, and then we can kind of discuss which one we think is the best.
I feel like we should say it and then talk about it.
I bet we all have the same coach in our minds, though.
Let's.
Yeah, we do.
There's probably two answers.
Yeah, I think we just should say it and then 20 seconds and then move on. Okay, that's good.
All right.
So my coach is Adam Gase.
Hey. Big G.
So
My coach is Adam
who
Gase.
agrees with that? Who agrees with that?
Big G.
Everyone but Levi.
Everyone believes that. So Adam Gase, I think we all know why. He's probably gonna get fired, but probably not because of the Jets. And
they're gonna keep Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold.
Yes, and they are defeated. They are 0 and whatever they are now. I'm losing count at this point.
0-13.
And they have a chance at beating the Raiders, and I think that was intentional. Honestly, I think they were just Greg Williams was like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out on my own terms.
Blitzing 6 people on a final play.
Yeah, running a cover 0 all-out blitz on the last play.
All-out blitz on the Hail Mary.
They left a rookie corner one-on-one with the fastest guy in the league.
That's almost as bad as
I agree. That was a very bad coaching decision. However, that was not Adam Gase, just to keep that in mind.
No,
I know, but Adam Gase is still 0-13.
Yeah.
Adam
the worst team in
Gase,
NFL history.
Last I checked, the head coach has some say in play calls, but yeah.
So I guess if you guys are all in agreement, I guess I'll give you mine. So I looked at the entire award. It's worst coach /
general manager.
So I had to go with the Texans' Bill O'Brien.
The
reason I thought about it, number one, because he got fired midway through the season after I believe it was a 1-4 record or 1-5, something like that.
0-4.
0-4. Okay, he didn't even get a win. That's how bad he did. B, because not only was he responsible for them losing the games, he was also responsible for them with a bad personnel. But the other thing I took into account is the fact that Adam Gase does not have talent at all, especially on the defensive side of the ball. There is no talent. And on offense, his talent is a undeveloped quarterback and a super old running back. That's literally what they have. They have like 50-year-old Frank Gore and then young and undeveloped Sam Darnold.
Just on your point of having no defensive players, the Texans have the bottom 2 defense in the league this year. So that's
they do have J.J. Watt. They do have J.J. Watt.
Yes, you have one good player.
No, look.
The Jets have
more than the Jets.
He's a good player.
And on offense, they have Deshaun Watson. And even with Deshaun Watson, even with receivers like Kenny Stills and receivers like and Will Fuller.
He's out.
He's out right now, but not when they had Bill O'Brien.
Oh, I agree. Firing Bill O'Brien is the best thing for Texans franchise. 100%.
Yeah, no.
Wait, look. Adam Gase takes out Jamal Adams and Le'Veon Bell. So he traps out his 2 talented players.
Well, Adam Gase, was he actually the one who made those moves, or was it their GM? Because
he was forced to make them.
That's true,
Jamal Adams
probably.
Was having beef with him.
I don't know. I ended up going with Bill O'Brien, A, because not only is he the coach, he's also a terrible GM as well, and B, because he wasted way more talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think next year my boys will be back in the playoffs, Texans.
And Levi, I like that pick, but at the same time, he only played 4 games. He was only in the league for 4 games. So
exactly, that's
if
why.
We're doing like 2020. He messed up like 4 games. Adam Gase messed up like 14.
That's why I took Adam Gase.
Something right because he hasn't been fired yet.
No, oh my God.
They have nobody to replace him.
At 0-13 and you still haven't been fired. I mean, there must be something they really like.
You
about
take
this
Adam Gase out.
The Browns kept him.
Bro, he
you
likes
take Adam Gase out.
and
You gotta put in like a quarterback as the coach.
Oh my God, Seth the Bug Eyes.
When the Browns went 0-16, they kept their head coach.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kept him for the next season.
And then they went 1-15.
Hey.
No, they went 1-15, 0-16.
Let's move on, guys. We're gonna go with comeback player of the year.
Oh yeah.
Next.
This should probably be unanimous, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
I don't think it is. I think Drew might have
unanimous.
I don't think I have what you guys have. You guys can go first. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I have Alex
Algo.
Smith because
No.
he broke his leg and almost got his leg amputated.
You
Comes
have to
back,
have
and I
Alex.
think he's 4-1. He's 4-1.
Yeah.
His stats aren't great, but he beat the Steelers. Sure, he's riding the defense, but he's still starting. He's playing, and he has a winning record, and he's leading the division. That's comeback player of the year, 100%.
And I did
And then-
say before the season started, when we were doing our preseason predictions, I said the only way the Washington football team can be competitive is if Alex Smith comes back and is healthy and ends up becoming their starter. And what do you know? They benched Haskins, then Kyle Allen got hurt, and then who comes in but the savior, Alex Smith, who has gone 4-1. So there's no way you can not say Alex Smith is the comeback player of the year. He missed, I believe it's something like 530 days of not being able to run. And then after like literally over a year of not being able to run, now he's back in an NFL field, winning games.
And he's had a couple
beating
times
the
where he's been on the
Steelers.
ground for a while, but he's always
He
got
even
back up
beat
now.
the Steelers. Is incredible.
And look,
And
Ben
he's-
Roethlisberger hasn't been playing. He's been playing well, but with an excellent offense. Their offense.
No, but
can't
Ben
really get better.
Roethlisberger is probably the second comeback player of the year. Honestly, he's like
He
second
is.
in the category
Yeah, no. If you could
If
give
he
it to
hadn't
both
played
of
in
them,
a while-
I totally would.
with a ruptured shoulder, I think, and he's
Yeah.
11-2 with good stats.
I had a controversial pick for my comeback player of the year. You guys are probably going to hate me for this, but I took Old Man Rivers in that Indianapolis
Rivers?
offense.
What?
He
Yeah.
went 4-12 last year. He was demoralized and he was destroyed, and he gets traded so that the Chargers could pick a new quarterback. And I think honestly, I mean, for the amount of time Philip Rivers has been in the league, I mean, I think he's doing well. I think he deserves at least some notoriety. I mean,
Yeah, but comeback player of the year.
But
like,
did he
still had-
miss 500 games due to a foot injury?
Sure, he was bad last year, but
I mean, they went 12
Now he has a better
4,
team
and then
around
they went
him.
4-12. I mean,
Yeah, but that's also, I mean, the Chargers last year, they were just playing terrible. And this year, the Chargers are still awful, but the Colts are great.
exactly.
But I don't know how much.
I'm gonna go with the obvious pick, Ben Roethlisberger.
No.
He's
How is
not
it obvious?
No.
the obvious pick is Alex Smith, who
Tell me
beat
who
Ben
beat Ben
Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger.
Okay,
Who was the
and-
first quarterback to beat Ben?
Oh,
He beat
guys.
Ben.
Who was the first
Okay.
one to beat Ben Roethlisberger?
Yes,
And he
beat
almost
Ben.
had to amputate his leg. Ben
And who
hurt his
has
shoulder.
less
Yeah,
losses
big
this
deal.
year? Who has less losses? Alex Smith has 1 loss. Ben Roethlisberger has 2.
Well, who's
Oh,
more
God.
wins, Levi? Who's more wins?
Well, who's played less games?
Who had to
Okay,
get
when
his
you do
leg
a
almost
ratio,
amputated?
when you do a ratio, 11-2 or 4-1,
Shoulder
right? 11-2
or
is
leg?
better. You know
Well,
how
they would actually-
ratios
they would-
work, right?
If you do the ratio, Alex
If you do the
Smith would
ratio,
end up-
11-2, 4, it would be 8-2, right? That'd be
Yeah,
both
but then
losses.
if you do it one more time, Alex Smith would
Then
be
they'd be
12-3.
12-3 and
so would
11-2.
Big Ben. Big Ben would also end up at 12-3.
What do you mean?
If you do the ratio, right?
No, you wouldn't do the ratio. Then they'd be 16.5-3. It's to the 12-3. That'd be what the ratio would be.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say why Ben Roethlisberger is a comeback player of the year, right? Comeback player of the year, I think, takes into account not what happened 3 years ago or whatever, how long ago. I think it's just comeback player of last year, and I think he came back last year from a really, really bad injury. Not as bad as Alex Smith, granted. Not many injuries are as bad as Alex Smith. It's hard to compete with that. But it's not just about how bad your injury is. That's not what it is about. He led his team to an 11-2 record. He was 11-0 2 weeks
Yes,
ago.
but Alex Smith played 5 games and he's 4-1. Maybe he could have won his team to an 11-2 record as well. Who knows?
Yeah, but
A
I
team
know,
with no name. So
but last
Yeah,
year,
the team with no
last
name,
year,
who has
last
one
year,
good,
the
2 good
Steelers-
offensive players.
Last year, the Steelers, with a very, very similar team, missed the playoffs without
they
Ben
were a
Roethlisberger.
great team.
But they were still 9-7. They
And
were
they missed the
9-7 and
playoffs.
they barely
And
missed
Ben
the playoffs.
Roethlisberger came
Now
in
they're gonna
and
be
he led them to
12-4.
an undefeated
That's 4
season
games
up to
better.
11 games, and then had 2 bumpy
And
roads.
we all agreed earlier in the show that the Steelers are one of the worst undefeated teams. And so
And we also
and they have
people
no
also said
offense,
that
and the
this,
only reason they're winning is defense.
yeah, and people also
The
said that
football
this
team will
is the
probably beat
other
the Seahawks.
obvious
Not gonna
comeback player
lie.
of the year choice.
As much as I hate to say it, Smith will probably beat the Seahawks.
Smith will not beat the Seahawks. We're going
Yeah,
to
I'm
the
rooting for
the football team on this one.
Anyone can.
There's a good
I'm
chance he
talking
will.
about Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, guys, Ben Roethlisberger.
But we're talking about Smith, who's better than Ben Roethlisberger. Not better, but he's a
You think he's
comeback
better than
player.
Ben Roethlisberger?
Not
really?
better, but he should win comeback player of the year
He's
over
not
Ben
better, but
Roethlisberger.
what he's come back from
I
is
just don't
much more
get
than
what
Ben
your argument.
Roethlisberger.
Your argument is that his injury was worse, which then in a sense makes it that
That's
he's.
not
That is
my
our
argument.
He couldn't
That is-
walk
That's not
for
mine.
500 days, and
That
then
is
he came
exactly
back, and
our
now he's a
argument.
winning football
Okay,
player.
Lorenzo, who's better right now, Alex Smith or Ben Roethlisberger?
It doesn't
I don't
matter
know
who's
who's
better.
But
Last
not
year,
wrong.
Patrick
That's-
Mahomes
the
was better
category is
than
not
Ryan
who's the best
Tannehill,
player, 'cause
but
in that
Ryan
case, it'd be
Tannehill
Patrick
was the
Mahomes.
comeback
But
player
they
of the
both
year.
came back from really bad injuries, and they both came back, and
It's
one
so
player is
dumb.
better than the other player.
Drew, wait.
Honestly,
Roethlisberger's
Philip Rivers might
better.
deserve to win it more than Ben Roethlisberger.
Hey, old man Rivers.
I would disagree with that take, Seth. I do think Ben Roethlisberger is a clear number 2, and if you could give it to both, I would. But just take this into account. I mean, last year, Ryan Tannehill was certainly not the best quarterback in the NFL, but he won comeback player of the year because 2 years prior, he had a career-altering ACL injury. The next season, he
But
comes back,
that's
sucks,
not what
gets
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
benched.
not the
saying, though.
injury most of the
That's
time.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying he was the best player that came back from a bad injury or a really bad season the prior year.
Well, he also
Who
has
else
a
had a
great
really
team
bad
to
season the
play
previous
around.
year or came back from an injury?
I'm sure there
Alex
were other
Smith, that's a
players.
trap.
Of course, I don't
And
know.
Ryan
exactly
Tannehill was
who.
that best player. So Ben Roethlisberger came back from a really bad injury, just like Alex Smith, and he's playing better than Alex Smith.
Yes,
But
but
Ben
Alex Smith had a
Roethlisberger,
worse injury,
we
and he's
knew
still
Ben
4-1
Roethlisberger
playing
was
good.
going
Okay,
back
and
on the
guys, I'm
field.
going to be completely honest. I was this close to picking Alex Smith. I'm fine with the Alex Smith pick. I'm not mad about that, and I don't think you guys should be mad about the Ben Roethlisberger pick
Well,
either.
there's kind of an obvious choice here, and it just makes sense.
Hey,
Sure.
he's
No,
going
it
to end up
doesn't
winning
make
it.
sense.
Again, not mad about it, but I think
All right.
that
Well, I
he's
think we've
some
talked
player-
enough about the comeback player of the year. I think we all agree that my prediction at the beginning of the year, Cam Newton, he is not going to be it. But yeah,
We're close.
Roethlisberger, Smith, it's pretty close. But what's the next award?
And Philip Rivers.
Okay, I'm going to ask Lorenzo Derrigetti for this one. Wide receiver of the year.
Look, it was very tough. It came down to 2 wide receivers who have played excellent, DK and Devante Adams. But I had to pick Devante Adams because he's playing an
Nice pick.
offense that relies on him. It relies on him and Aaron Rodgers to play well
Yeah.
with a strong running game. DK has the help of Tyler Lockett and some good young wide receivers as well. So he's not getting relied on every single passing play.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Definitely.
And I picked Devante Adams as well, but my second
Yeah.
place was not DK. It was Tyreek Hill, because he has
Yeah,
leads the league in tied for Devante with touchdowns and more yards than Devante. I just think that Devante is so reliable. Rodgers can just throw to Devante anytime he wants in the red zone, and Devante will make the catch. Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
needs to get open deep to make the catch.
and he
You
has
can't just
great
throw to Tyreek in
footwork.
the
I
red
mean,
zone. Devante just doesn't
he's
really drop
number one.
passes. I mean, and he's their offense. Him and Rodgers. I guess
Yeah.
Jones, but too. But
That's
Yeah,
the number
I
one
think
Aaron
Devante
receiver
Jones
is better
in the
deserves
league.
some credit there, too.
Devante Adams is the best receiver in the league.
Yeah, I picked Devante as well. Same
Yeah.
with Seth. I was between Devante and Hill. And the one thing that put Devante over the top for me was when I looked at yards after catch. Devante Adams has 504 yards after catch, and Tyreek Hill only has 364. So that's 140 more for Adams. And to me, that is what set him apart because they have similar amounts of yards. I think Tyreek has a few more. They have the same amount of receiving touchdowns. Tyreek Hill has better rushing numbers because he does do some jet sweeps.
Yeah.
Devante Adams does not. But in the end, I had to go with Adams simply because looking at yards after catch, it proves that he is better at Tyreek Hill at not only at catching the ball, but then at getting yards after he catches the ball. Tyreek Hill benefits a
Now-
lot from Patrick Mahomes just throwing
This
him.
could have
he
gone
also
to
has the
5
best-
receivers.
An
Honestly, this could have gone to
argument-
5 people, I think.
an
And-
I
argument-
think Devante.
So I picked Devante Adams as well, but an argument against what Levi said is you got to look at who the receivers are as a player. I mean, sure, Tyreek Hill might not have as many yards after catch, but that's because Tyreek Hill is so fast and he's getting wide open to the point where he's not near anyone where he needs to get yards afds catch.
Yeah,
And then
That's
you
true.
have
yards
Devante
after catch
Adams.
are overrated.
And then you have Devante Adams, who's a lot taller and is more of a sort of slants, sort of pocket pass guy. And, he's catching passes and he's, running through blocks. You got to weigh in what sort of receiver they are. As well.
That's
So
an argument,
everyone
and I
picked
honestly
Devante
don't have any
Adams.
comeback to that.
Everyone
Yeah.
picked Devante.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be close with
I mean, I
everyone.
still
I
pick
have somebody-
Devontae.
Hopkins, aren't
I
you?
have somebody different.
Oh, jeez.
You're gonna pick Hopkins.
If you-
You're gonna pick Hopkins.
I picked Stephon Diggs.
Why?
Oh, okay,
No.
Diggs. Yeah,
And-
that's fair.
And
That's fair.
okay, just hear me out.
No,
Stephon
that's
Diggs,
fair.
one of the best
Not
receivers.
top
in the
3
league.
wide receiver.
I
He's
think
top five
that
for
Josh
sure, 100%.
Allen. I think Josh Allen has
Top five.
skyrocketed in talent because of Stephon Diggs. I'll read you some numbers.
I would
Right?
argue
He
Josh
leads
Allen
the league.
over Stephon Diggs.
I think
He
Diggs is
leads
fifth.
the league in receptions, right? He leads the league in the receptions.
Yeah, that's true.
He's behind by about 100 yards or so to Travis Kelce, who's not even a wide receiver.
And
So
he's
he's
behind
down
DK too.
Only
He's
5
down
touchdowns.
13. He's down 13 yards to DK Metcalf in
Yeah.
yards. He has more receptions than anybody else in the entire league. And yes, he does have only 5 touchdowns, which is definitely a blemish to his name. But at the same time, I feel like touchdowns are a bit of luck, right? If you get open,
Yeah.
you get open. If you catch the
But I
ball,
think
Julio
part of it is that
doesn't
you
have
need to get open in the
touchdowns.
red zone. I mean, I don't think touchdowns are as much luck. Touchdowns is a significant way of rating receivers. There's a reason why
Not
only the
really.
best receivers lead the
See,
leagues in
I
touchdowns.
100% disagree with that. I 100% disagree
Yeah,
with
because Julio Jones would get like 3 touchdowns. He had, I think, a season with 4 or 5 touchdowns. He was still the best wide receiver in the league.
that. Yeah, I disagree with that. I really do.
Yeah, that's true.
Touchdowns
mean,
are overrated
Levi
as well.
Hopkins has 5 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins, do you think that guy is dominant? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, yes.
I do think DeAndre Hopkins is having a down season this year.
No,
Oh
no, he's
my
still a top 3 receiver in the
God.
league.
Are you?
Without
He's the third best
Hopkins.
receiver in the league.
He's the third or second.
without
Yeah, third or
scoring,
second.
can you really be a top 3 receiver?
Yes. I mean, it's not all about scoring. I mean,
Scoring is
you win
nothing
games
for a
by-
wide receiver.
You win
That's for
games by,
running backs and tight ends, most of them.
exactly. You win games by scoring, but if you have a reliable wide receiver who can get down the field and constantly catch passes, it doesn't always have to be a touchdown. It's how
And,
reliable they
Levi,
can be
and
down
your
the
pick,
field.
Your pick, Devante Adams, has less receptions, less yards, and he has more touchdowns. So statistically, your guy leads in 1, while my guy leads in 2. So if you really want to say that
I put more
touchdowns is that
value on
important,
points.
I
I
still
do put
lead
more
in
value
2
on points.
categories. And you can't argue that that Stephon Diggs is the only wide receiver in that team, so he gets targeted more. Devante Adams is the only wide receiver on that team. Who's the better quarterback? Aaron Rodgers. So he has a better quarterback, right? He's the only
A
wide
better
receiver on the
running game.
team, and he has less receptions and less yards. I'm gonna give it to Stephon Diggs.
He also has a
You wanna
better
move
run
on?
I
game.
actually see it. Because they also the Packers have a much better running game, so
Yeah.
that helps a ton for
That is true.
Devante
Yeah,
Adams.
off the
I
play
think-
action.
And
see it.
Devante Adams
I
does
think
have
Stephon
significantly
Diggs-
more yards after catch, although I know you guys don't believe that's a good stat to go by.
No, I do believe
No,
that's a good
Julio-
stat,
I
but
mean-
who has more yards in general?
I mean, it really
Stephon
depends.
Diggs.
Yards after catch.
Barely,
like I said.
barely. 23 more yards. Stephon Diggs has
Yeah.
23 more yards.
Yeah, so they're pretty much tied.
They're tied, yes. And they're very close in receptions as well. He has 9 more receptions.
Yeah.
And I believe that with those 14 touchdowns, 9 more touchdowns gives Adams the edge over Diggs.
And I agree.
Yeah, so-
Touchdown put him over the top, and same as Hill, because Hill has 14 touchdowns as well.
Because you're basically the same in receptions. You're a little bit behind in receptions. You're a little bit behind in yards, but you're 9 more touchdowns. For me and for everyone else, that's what puts them
But-
apart.
No.
No, I switched my pick.
Hey, Lorenzo.
Wow,
With the-
Lorenzo. So I
Because
guess
if you look,
3 Devante
running-
Adams now, 2.
running the ball wins you football games. The Packers have one of the strongest running games in the league. So Devante Adams is a great wide receiver, second in my book.
And he has Aaron Rodgers,
he has-
which helps.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer. Second best quarterback. Man.
Okay, let's move on. This is clearly kind of split, honestly, but I think we both agree
Yeah.
that's either Stephon Diggs or Devante Adams with a little
Yeah.
bit of DK Metcalf in there.
I
Let's,
thought you guys were gonna pick DK.
Nah, I don't know. I haven't
I
seen the same
just think with all the
dominance.
drops, I think DK.
Yeah, that's a good
I mean,
point.
DK's great, but with the drops, I mean, he just needs to learn to clamp
And this is
down.
his second year in the league. Stephon Diggs, Devante Adams been around for a while. Seth, what is your running back of the year?
Yeah, my
Alvin
running back for the
Cook.
year is between 3 people, but most like probably just 2 at the end of the day. And I went with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
He has
Nah.
14
Me as well.
touchdowns.
Derrick
Cook
Henry
has 14
has
as
to do
well. And I guess Kamara overall has 14 touchdowns too, so they all have 14 touchdowns. Rushing yards wise, Henry has more than Cook and way more than Kamara. So yards per carry is unreal. He's fumbled one time all year. And he's
He's also rushed on 297 attempts.
Yeah, it's Henry.
I mean, I think Henry wins just because he's given the opportunity to win. I mean, when you look at it, the Tennessee Titans have been relying on the run game the past couple of weeks, and Henry's been delivering. I mean, he's in a whole nother league when it comes to the amount of touches he gets per game. I mean, that really shows in his stats. I mean, I think that's why he's probably the best running back in the league, is because he's given the opportunity to be the best running back.
Yeah, but Cook has a lot of carries too, though, so it's not that.
But not only is it opportunity that sets Cook and Henry apart from everybody else, it's the fact that they have the ability to. Because unlike if you're a receiver, you can go out on every play. If you're a Devante Adams or Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill, you can go out on every single play and have a chance at getting the ball thrown to you. If most running backs cannot physically go out on every single play and get a handoff. Most of them just can't do it, right? It's too difficult on the body. Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, they can do it. They can go every single play. The Titans, who is their backup? I don't even know. That's how good Derrick Henry.
They can go every play for now, but
when they get better. It reminds me of what Adrian Peterson used to be. They're a power back, and they never, ever have to get taken out of the game. They can do it and just keep on hitting. Like the Browns, you saw what happened when Kareem Hunt got injured. They lost 2 games out of 3, right? Then Kareem Hunt got back, and they were back to being one of the best run games in the league because they have to have 2 of them, right?
Like I told you, running
Nick Chubb
one football
he got tired. Derrick Henry doesn't get tired.
I have Derrick Henry.
Neither does Dalvin Cook, and that's why it's super close between Cook and Henry.
Yeah,
my pick was Dalvin Cook because he has 113 yards a game, which overall I would rather look at how much he would
Henry
do
has
in
117
the
yards
game.
a game. Henry has 117 yards a game.
107. I messed up my stats.
Oh,
Damn.
really?
Yeah, I messed up.
For me, I was going to go with Dalvin Cook, but then I just thought of one little thing, is that the Titans are in first place in their division, and the Vikings are currently in the number 8 seed. And because of that, I realized that Derrick Henry, while they do about the same for their teams, Derrick Henry is doing a better job helping his team actually get wins, which is also more important.
And I picked Derrick Henry as well just because I really, really wanted to give it to Dalvin Cook. I love Dalvin Cook. I've had him on my fantasy team for a while now.
Controversial trade.
Well,
and then I traded him to Alex, actually. But I got a good trade in turn. But anyways, I wanted to have him. But then I look at the stats, and Derrick Henry literally leads Dalvin Cook by this much in every single category. And it's really hard not to give it to Derrick Henry. I can see where Lorenzo's coming from just based off of how dominant they've both been, but Derrick Henry leads in yards. He leads in average.
Well, it also depends on what offense you're running because Dalvin Cook can go and run routes to catch balls. So not everyone can get a Derrick Henry.
And
in their
Dalvin
offense.
Cook actually would most likely have more yards and better stats than Derrick Henry, but he did miss a game and a half. More like game and 3 quarters.
Overall yards, Cook has more because of his receiving yards.
Yeah, because Cook has receiving yards. Significantly more, but I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like running backs. I kind of just give running backs when they get receiving yards. I feel like that's a little bit less important for a running back because their main job is to run the ball, and
the
you
modern
have receivers and tight
offense
ends
is very
to catch
important,
balls.
right? And the modern offense is getting more and more important. Look at Christian
Yeah,
McCaffrey.
but I guess the thing that goes against that argument, Levi, is like, do you know where Alvin Kamara is in rushing yards in the league right now?
Yeah, he's not very. He's
16th. He's behind.
Alvin Kamara also has.
He has a lot of passing
yards.
That's what I mean. So Levi's philosophy of passing yards don't matter. I think they do for running back.
I didn't say they don't matter. I just think they don't matter as much. So that's also where I give a little bit of edge to Henry because while Henry has more rushing yards and Cook has more receiving yards, I think the fact that Henry has more rushing yards is more important to me because he is a running back.
Well,
just for curiosity.
Look at it this way, like what Drew's saying. Last year, Christian McCaffrey had 1,000 yards. That's decent, but he had 1,000 receiving yards as well.
Yeah, so here's what I'd say to that, and I was kind of explaining this to Seth earlier. So last year, Christian McCaffrey was definitely the best player who was a running back position. But I still think that even last year, Derrick Henry was a better running back. And the award we're giving is running back award. Christian McCaffrey and Alvin
But
Kamara
it's the
all around
position, Levi. It's
are
the
better.
position.
Well, I
It's
guess
not
I
a
guess
style.
I guess I just took liberty to make
No,
the
yeah,
award.
I was trying to tell him that earlier. He thinks that Kamara is more of a receiver, and McCaffrey last year wasn't the best running back.
I don't
Clearly, he
think
was the
they're
best running
more
back
receivers.
because he did.
I think all around players, Kamara and McCaffrey are better.
But it's the
Derrick
position
Henry,
of running back.
purely to be a running back, Derrick Henry is a better running
Okay,
back.
guys,
because he gets
let's
the most
move-
Same
rushing
1960.
yards.
Running backs don't only run.
Let's
It's
move
the
on.
position.
Okay, guys, just for curiosity, who do you guys think is third on the rushing yards? The only other guy to break 1,000
James
yards.
Robinson.
It's
James
the
Robinson.
Jaguars, isn't
James
it?
Robinson.
Yes,
James
undrafted
Robinson,
rookie.
the rookie.
Good for that guy. He's a arguable rookie of the year, to be completely honest. He's doing really good. Did you know
James Robinson is so good.
who's the first QB to show up on the list? Anybody?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
712.
barely in front of.
Well, actually, I think Lamar might have passed him tonight. I think Lamar
No,
passed him tonight.
Oh yeah,
It
Lamar
hasn't-
Jackson.
I'm looking at the ESPN
He
list
might
right now,
have.
and
As
Lamar
of
Jackson's
3
stats
hours
have not
ago-
been updated.
As of 3 hours ago, it was 669 to 712. Yeah, and it's really interesting. For example, the fifth most rushing yards in the league is Kenyon Drake, and sixth most is Ezekiel Elliott, and they're clocking in at about 800 yards. And then you have Derrick Henry, who's at 1,500 yards and is doubling their yard totals, which just shows you how much of a beast Derrick Henry is. Because like everybody after James Robinson doesn't even have 1,000 rushing yards, and he's at 1,500. And honestly, he could end up with like 1,800 by the end of the year.
Yeah,
No,
just so you know,
to look
Lamar
at Derrick
Jackson
Henry.
skyrocketed. After this game, he will now be in number 10. He passes. Not only does he pass Kyler Murray in rushing yards, but also passing Damian Harris, Alvin Kamara, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kareem Hunt, Miles Sanders, Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Taylor, and David Montgomery.
Wow.
Yeah,
Although Kareem Hunt may have passed him back. I'm not
and
sure.
just
about that.
behind Nick Chubb, right?
Yeah, so he will be either 10th or 11th after this game, and Murray will be 18th. So yeah, Lamar has finally passed Kyler Murray as the top rushing.
Which shows you people think he has an off season as far as rushing yards QB. He still has the most, which is crazy because
and
last
he's
year
going
he
to
was
have a
just
shot at
highlight
making
reel.
1,000.
Yeah.
3 games.
Okay,
and all he
let's
needs
move
is
on.
like
We are spending a really long time on this. Let's get to Coach of the Year, Alex. Who's your Coach of the Year?
All right. Coach.
Hey, Doug Peterson, I'm killing you.
I mean, again, I had him down before the Browns game, but I mean, you got to give credit to Kevin Stefanski. I mean, the
Yeah.
Browns. I mean, coming to
I was
a
supposed to
winning
pick him
record finally. I mean, he's a great coach. He always has been. I mean, turning around a franchise like that, it takes a lot of work, and I think he definitely deserves credit. I mean, even after the recent loss, I mean, they still put up 42 points against a really good defense. And so I think Kevin Stefanski definitely deserves credit for being one of the better or one of the best coaches this year, at least.
My one was Brian Flores for his amazing work on defense. He turned that top 3 worst defense in the league into a top 10 defense, which is just incredible. And his leadership, I mean, it's just turned the franchise around.
I had that too. I think the only thing that's maybe questionable for Brian Flores is when he started Tua. But right now, it is looking like a pretty good decision. I know at the time, people were kind of questioning because Ryan Fitzpatrick was just coming off 2 or 3 wins in a row. He was playing really good football, and he pulls Ryan Fitzpatrick out. But I think it ends up going to be a good decision, and they're going to make the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and they're going to end up with a better record than the Patriots, which hasn't happened in like 20 years.
Yeah, I think my coach is also going to be Brian Flores because of the defense he's done over there. And there's others. I mean, just the offense actually isn't playing bad. They put up 27 on the Chiefs, who have a pretty good defense. And turning the team around from a failing franchise to a winning franchise in the playoffs as of now. Good job to him.
So I have somebody different. I will say Kevin
no.
Stefanski was my number 2, and Brian Flores was my number 3. So first I'll tell you why I did not pick them. So the reason I didn't pick Brian Flores, A, is because when I looked at the Dolphins, you have to remember, 2 years ago with Adam Gase, they were a playoff contender and had a winning record. That was with Adam Gase, their coach. Then last year, Brian Flores comes in, and I will say they bottomed out, and then somehow Ryan Fitzpatrick got super hot end of last year. This year comes into this year looking amazing, 8-5 now, and looks like they might make the playoffs. But they have a pretty darn good team and lots of good players around them. You might forget Tua Tagovailoa. In my opinion, he's a Rookie of the Year candidate. He's been playing his socks off, same as Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was balling out in his 7 games. And they have a guy named Xavier Howard, who's one of the top defenders in the entire league. So I look at that team. It's a great coaching job he's done, but I think he has quite a bit of talent that he gets to work with. Kevin Stefanski, same thing. I know I was so close to picking Stefanski because the Browns haven't had a winning record since 2007, right? It's been 13 seasons. But when I look at their roster, like, this is a team that should be winning games. When I look at the Browns, they're 9-4, and I'm like, yeah, they should be 9-4. They have, what do they have? Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham, one of the best receiving
Talent
players
doesn't
in
win
the
you
league.
football games.
Nick
Coaching
Chubb,
does.
Kareem Hunt, two of the
That's
best running backs, and Myles Garrett. So when I look at that, I think, again, lots of credit to Kevin Stefanski, but really great talent.
But it
So
takes
then
coaching. It takes coaching
Yeah, it
to
takes-
tame that
This
talent.
ain't the NBA.
But the talent
You
was
can't
there
win
before
with
he got
talent.
there.
That's true.
Yeah, but what happened? What did we see from the talent? Okay, they get Odell Beckham Jr. and they go 6-10. Okay,
Yeah.
then Kevin Stefanski comes in. He's able to tame the talent. He's able to get that talent into a good rhythm. I think it definitely takes a coach to be able to use talent effectively.
And that's why he was my number 2 choice. So I'm gonna give you my number 1 choice, and this is one that I have not heard anybody talk about. So this is definitely one that is, it's a questionable choice. But when I looked at all the good teams, and I looked at who has the least talent on their team, which good team has the least talent but is still winning? It's the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel has done an incredible job.
That.
When I look at the
I
Titans
understand.
organization, who do they have? Derrick Henry, and then a bunch of, who else? A.J. Brown's having a pretty good year, but I wouldn't consider him to be
Pretty
a great receiver yet.
He's a
Ryan
right.
Tannehill is a
great
guy
receiver.
who has been usually considered to be one of the most
Exactly.
disappointing QBs ever, and then he gets turned around this year and is having his best season of his career. And the defense, similar to Cleveland, the defense sucks, but somehow the Titans are 9-4 on top of their division.
Yeah,
I went with
Titans
Mike
defensive
Vrabel,
player.
very slight edge over Stefanski. It was a tough decision. I would put Flores at number 3, but yeah.
Okay. Drew? Wait, did Drew go?
I think
I said Brian
Oh,
Flores.
all 3 have done a great
All
coaching
right.
job. Ron Rivera as well. You
Yeah.
probably should mention him getting
Yeah.
somehow getting the team.
And he
to
had
a win,
cancer,
6
too.
Wins. Yeah,
And he had cancer.
All right, what's the next
All right,
award?
so,
we must only have a couple left now.
Most
Let's
disappointing?
just get
Yes.
this off the bat. Let's just get the disappointment out of the room. I mean,
Carson.
Oh, mine's not obvious.
Wait, what are we doing?
Most disappointing?
disappointment.
Carson. Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Not very surprising, but got to pick Big C.
Yeah,
Little
mine was
Carson.
Carson Wentz.
Carson James Wentz. 16
Mine wasn't.
touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 49.6 QB rating. He is having one of the worst seasons that a 27-year-old quarterback has ever had.
And if you just look at his last year's seasons, he had 4,000 yards. I think he was the first Eagles player ever to do that. And he had like 30 something, like 30, I think, TDs or something like that, which is crazy. He went from that to this.
I mean, when looking at players when they drop off in their NFL careers, I mean, it's usually around the ages of like 34, like you had Peyton Manning on the Broncos when they had that terrible year back in 2014. And, they dropped off. And then you have this young player who's in his 4th year. He's 27 years old, and he plays. And, the fact that he's playing football like this, it's very concerning. And so that's why I definitely think he's definitely the most disappointing player this year.
I picked Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Played
good.
pretty,
I'm so happy we did not re-sign him. I'm so happy we did not re-sign him.
he played pretty good in Seattle. He actually had a decent season.
He killed
It's a
a
one-year contract. to the Titans. Basically every snap.
I bet you Wentz's concussion by Xavier Howard is the reason he's so bad.
Why they're both so bad.
Brain damage.
Just David Clowney is just silent. That's the bad thing. At least Carson Wentz has some
Is he
touchdowns.
on the Titans?
Yeah, he's
And
on
I
the
think what
Titans.
makes
Carson Wentz is getting
Clowney
national
even more
popularity.
disappointing is the fact that Clowney held out for 5 months for a better
He wanted
contract.
$21 million.
He really overrated himself. He thought
He
was
wanted
very good.
$21 million.
I know.
And turned down an offer of $18 million by the Browns.
Yeah.
He turned it down.
I mean, think of how well he would have done on the Browns with Myles Garrett. And
Yeah, but
That would have been a
I don't
better
know.
fit, definitely.
Okay, I have Cam Newton because
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
fair.
I thought he was really disappointing. I honestly had expectations going into him being a top 10 quarterback in the league. And that's just based off of him playing with Bill Belichick and him being a former MVP. And he comes out, lays a dud. I don't know what else to say. I think I had more expectation for Cam Newton than I had for Carson Wentz, and that's just why I picked Cam Newton.
Yeah, I thought about Newton as well. Obviously, he was my pick for comeback player of the year, and beginning to the season, I thought Patriots were going to win the Super Bowl. So obviously, that's disappointing. The reason I did not pick also the same as Wentz, as well as Newton. I didn't pick them because they just hadn't come off of anything that spectacular. I know Wentz had a pretty good season last year, but I wouldn't say it was nearly as good as his MVP caliber season before. And Newton only playing 2 games last year, and then he signs like a $2 million 1-year contract. So the reason I didn't pick Newton, honestly, there wasn't as much for him to live up to. So the player that I picked is Ezekiel Elliott on the Cowboys.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh,
A guy who has 5 touchdowns and 5 fumbles. And he just got a massive contract to be their starting running back for the rest of the as long as they hoped for him to be there and be their franchise guy at running back. And now that looks like a terrible decision.
Yep.
And the fact that they only have 4 wins, I mean, I know their defense is terrible. But seriously, he has the same amount of fumbles as touchdowns? And I mean, that's just bad.
I mean, the reason
It's like
I didn't
Carson
pick-
Wentz-esque.
Yeah, that's Carson.
I mean,
That's
The
Carson
reason I
Wentz.
didn't pick Ezekiel Elliott is because if you look at Carson Wentz, he's been sucking since the start of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
All 4 of them, and he had three rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown. I think what really I think that's why I chose Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't
Do you
really
wanna move
hear
on?
any of that because my connection was unstable. But you basically, I think you were talking something about the reason
I
you
talked
chose-
about how they started.
Yeah.
how
Zeke had a good start when he had Dak, right?
he's been start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zeke had he had 3 games with 100 yards rushing. He had 3 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown. And I think, all season
Okay, guys.
just when Dak.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of NFL awards. This is the least meat and potato-esque award, but let's just do it. The D. Roy. And this is all
How?
these.
Defense is better than all.
Listen, it's less glorified. Let's
Defense
be real
wins
here,
championships.
Less
Lorenzo.
glorifying.
Yeah,
It's football.
offense wins games, but defense wins Super Bowls. That's the same.
Yeah.
Chiefs.
I'll
Okay.
start.
Go ahead.
My defensive rookie of the year is Chase Young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
I'm just gonna pull up his stats for a second.
He's got 5.5 sacks, 3 forced
5.5
fumbles,
sacks,
and a
and he has-
touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown. Man, he's been really good for the Redskins. He's probably been the best defensive player as a rookie. And
Whoa, Washington football team.
my bad, Washington football team. Do not demonetize us, YouTube. He 36 tackles, I think. 3 forced fumbles. Yeah, he's been really good, bringing energy to that team
So
and helping them
athletic.
win games.
Anybody object?
He's just so athletic. It's
I did pick somebody
impossible to
else.
object.
I know this is
jeez.
becoming a theme, but I looked at Chase Young, and once again I was very close to picking him, but then I looked at the Panthers and I looked at my man Jeremy Chin. This
That
guy
was one
is
game.
one of the
One
best
game.
safeties as a rookie who I've ever watched.
One game.
Antoine
Already has
Winfield
95
Jr. is
95
better
tackles.
than
I
him.
believe that leads all rookies. So he leads rookies in tackles. He does only have the
Tackles
one sack
are
and the one
overrated as well.
interception, but 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 touchdowns.
That was one game.
Yeah,
he
but
does still he has more forced fumbles, more fumble
95 tackles
recoveries,
too.
and more touchdowns than Chase
Yeah,
Young.
he was in second for me, and
And he leads
not very
leads all
close, but he
rookies
was
in
still
tackles.
second. Another honorable
He
mention
was
would be Patrick
fifth for
Queen
me.
too.
I'll go to Patrick Queen.
Tackles
Patrick
are
Queen's been having a
overrated,
great
though.
season as well.
So Queen's been good. He has 84 tackles, 2 sacks, 6 QB hits, 1 interception, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 touchdown.
Oh, yeah, pretty good pick.
No,
You
I didn't pick
want
him though.
Safety.
I didn't pick him. I picked Chase.
Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire just had the better start and just been fluid from the start. There's no other rookie like him. I mean, Justin Jefferson is really good, as well as DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, and those.
How do you, Lorenzo, I'll
Did
ask
you
this question.
Herbert?
No, Justin Herbert. It's overrated, the quarterback position. You always
I
have to
Justin-
pick the
disagree.
quarterback.
First off, Justin Jefferson and Gibson are both better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Second off,
Not
the
just
rookie of the year
Gibson. How
is
about we talk
Justin
about
Herbert.
Robinson?
Yeah, James Robinson even too, maybe.
James Robinson
I'll
has more
say-
rushing yards than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. More
Preseason,
than
I thought
more
Hilaire
than Gibson.
was going to win that award, Offensive Rookie of the Year. But now you can't
That
dispute
was
Justin Herbert.
interesting
He's
pick.
having
It's a
such
passing
good
offense.
season.
He's not going to have
Chase
more
Claypool
rushing
even?
yards
Chase
than other
Claypool's putting up ridiculous numbers.
I
Yeah,
think.
but you're not gonna rush for a lot of yards with a passing offense.
Yeah, I think Lorenzo makes a good point, but I think the
He makes a
reason
terrible point.
I didn't take
How?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I took
You're not
Justin
gonna run-
Jefferson, but the
You're
reason
not
I
going to run
didn't
30
take,
times.
the reason I didn't take Clyde Edwards-Helaire is because he's already going into a succeeding system. I mean, look at the Chiefs' offensive line. I mean, they had one of the best offensive lines last year. I mean, they took them all the way and they won the Super Bowl. I mean, look at the way the Chiefs, Williams was his name, the way he played in the Super Bowl. I mean, he had, 2 rushing
But
touchdowns?
I'm just confused. You guys are talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Gibson's been better. He has 11.
I'm trying to defend Lorenzo's point. I see where he's coming from, but I think the reason I took Justin Jefferson over Clyde Edwards-Helaire is because Jefferson was thrown into a role where he had to succeed.
No, yeah.
Stephon
Jefferson was my
Diggs-
second pick. He's been great.
Adam
Yeah, he's my
Thielen
second
is already a
pick
really
as well.
good receiver. For
But
them.
you have Stephon Diggs, who had an amazing season last year, even though the Vikings had a failing offense. And then you trade him away, first of all, and then you have to pick up a rookie to fill in his shoes. And I think Justin Jefferson's definitely been doing that over the course of this season, even though Kirk Cousins has been playing not so great.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
why
I agree with that. He was my
Lorenzo's-
second place pick, and he's
Clyde-
been great. What does he have? 7
Clyde's
touchdowns,
second
1,000
place.
receiving yards.
How was Clyde second?
Clyde should be like 5th, honestly.
No, I didn't even have Clyde in my top 5.
Gibson, Jefferson, Herbert. Who else is there? Let's see.
How
who
is-
else
Gibson's
is
how
there?
are you
only
guys missing
statistically better if you
Robinson?
actually look at the
James
game.
Robinson,
I guess I was going to
Tua
mine.
Tagovailoa,
Nah,
Chase
nah, nah.
Claypool.
Tango
You
Vailoa.
can't put Tua there.
Sure he
No,
can.
Clyde
He's 4 and 2.
Edwards-Helaire. The thing is,
Okay,
you only look
Robinson-
at stats. You don't look
okay,
at the game.
First of all,
I'm a Chiefs fan. I watch Chiefs games.
the Clyde
Yeah,
Edwards-Helaire
Clyde Edwards-Helaire
argument
had the-
is the Clyde Edwards-Helaire argument is so flawed because there's literally a better rookie running back.
And
his name-
additionally,
No,
let
Robinson.
me just say this.
Antonio Gibson is
Edwards-Helaire,
so much better.
The Chiefs still
How is he better
than
traded
Robinson?
Le'Veon Bell. So
He is
it's not
much
like
better.
it's not like
He
Hilaire
doesn't
was
have-
was.
Robinson doesn't have the power and speed combination that Clyde Edwards-Helaire
So why
has.
did the
Also,
Chiefs feel the
Drew,
need
Drew,
to
Drew,
pick
to your
up
point,
Le'Veon Bell?
Robinson I
Much
think
better.
is worse than I think the only running back better than Edwards-Helaire is Gibson. Robinson plays for the Jaguars who only run the ball.
But
They
you
kinda
can't
have to give
fault
him the
you
ball.
can't fault a guy
Jaguars
who's
only
doing
run the
exactly what
No, I know he's doing great, but I think that Gibson and Edwards-Helaire are both better than Robinson.
Seth,
Ah,
going into the season,
no.
the Jaguars were a passing offense. Until James Robinson broke out, the Jaguars were going to be a passing offense, not a running offense.
Yeah, well now they're a running offense.
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
because of James Robinson.
So
he's
let me
not benefiting from the
finish
system.
my
The
point.
system is
Let me
benefiting
finish
from
my
him.
point. James Robinson has more yards. He averages.
This is a
more,
controversial one. Jeez.
He averages more yards than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who has a better offensive line. He averages the exact same amount of yards as Gibson.
Yeah,
but Gibson is 21st in yards out of all running backs.
Gibson also didn't start the first couple games either.
Yeah, Robinson's an undrafted rookie. You want to look at his first 2 or 3 games? I bet they weren't great either.
I know, good for him, and he's a great player. But I still think that Gibson 11 touchdowns is better, and Clyde has more potential than James Robinson.
But I don't know. I
It
just
doesn't
think
matter about potential.
I
It
think
matters
you've been
that James
watching more
Robinson is
Gibson
having,
than
and
Robinson.
ultimately he's having a better season.
But I still think the rookie of the year is Justin Herbert.
Yeah. I picked Justin Herbert as well because, I mean, the way I look at it, cornerback is the most important position on the field. Justin Herbert's having an insane season. And
I mean,
although the stats might say that, he only has, 3 wins? And
the stats might say that.
Yeah, the stats are.
But
the most
overall,
important
looking
position
at how
only has
good
3
Herbert has
wins.
played, just the throws
look at this.
the throws that he makes.
He's not. He can't finish games.
Yes, but he's also a rookie.
Finish
You have to
games,
remember,
and
he's a
not
rookie. Give him 2 or 3
Yeah.
years, and he'll be
but that's
finishing
not
these
an
games.
excuse
Jalen
for
Hurts
rookie of
It's not
the
an
year.
excuse when you're talking about rookie of the year. Because
Rookie of
he's
the
going
year is someone
against
who
other rookies.
plays like a
They're all
professional
rookies.
player.
So you can't look at rookie mistakes and be like, oh, well, he's a rookie. He's going against other rookies.
Well, then look at Tua. Tua was able to finish games.
Yeah,
And
and
you
he's
look at-
made more mistakes.
Yeah,
he got
and
benched for
Tua
Ryan
also has a
Fitzpatrick.
league best defense. Tua has the best defense in the league behind him.
And who does James Robinson have? Who does James Robinson have? Literally nobody. Literally nobody.
He's also a
Mike
running
Lennon.
back. He can just run the ball every play.
I agree.
And offensive lines don't help that.
Saquon Barkley had 3 yards in that game. It's not that running the ball a lot helps.
Fine, I guess that running backs just don't matter. You can put it, let's put Alex in there, and he'll run the ball.
No,
Me?
I
put
do
him in
believe
there.
that. I do believe that
500
running
yards
backs.
easy.
No, running backs do matter. It's just that Herbert is having such
According
a good
to you,
rookie
they don't.
season.
You can't throw any
dispute
guy off
Justin
the
Herbert.
street, and he'll be just as good.
That's not what I'm saying, because there's already 3 great rookie running backs. I just think that he's 3rd on that list. He's still a really good player.
Yeah, I don't
Honestly,
see how
James Robinson has
worse
been the
than-
best rookie running back. Only 1 fumble, also, which is really good.
Just a couple minutes ago, you were telling me about how Gibson is the best rookie, and then you look at the stats and you see, 1,000 rushing yards. I think
But
Robinson's
the
better now.
stats don't lie. The stats don't lie.
The stats don't always lie. For running backs, especially.
What I'm taking out of this argument is we all do concur, and we all have decided that Jalen Reagor is obviously the best rookie. Great wide receiver. He's been so effective.
No,
this
he is getting better. He is getting better.
Definitely. So I think we can move on now.
Yes.
Let's go ahead.
All right,
and,
so just to recap,
Player
that
of
was
the year.
1 vote for James Robinson, 1 vote for Antonio Gibson, 2 votes for Justin Herbert, or no votes
Justin
for Antonio
Jefferson.
Gibson, right? 1 for Edwards-Helaire,
Justin Jefferson.
1 for Justin Jefferson, and 2 for Herbert. So Herbert wins, but not really. I mean, it was very split.
He can't.
Okay,
And a
guys.
unanimous vote for Jalen Reagor. No.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jalen Reagor.
Yes. Okay, guys. Defensive player of the year. I'm going to give this to Lorenzo to start off our discussion.
There's no question about it. He's been the best player in the NFL for a long time. Aaron Donald.
Thank you.
No,
Someone agrees with me. Aaron
there's
Donald.
no question. Look, TJ Watt is a great player, but you have literal offensive coordinators having to cut the playbook when he's in.
Yeah,
Because he covers gaps.
Yeah.
He does the damage on the quarterback that you don't have time to run plays.
Yeah,
He
12
can
and a half
cover 2 gaps.
sacks, 4 forced
12 and a
fumbles.
half, 36 tackles. I mean, you can't. The only other players that you could
16
compare
tackles for
him
loss,
to is Reggie
2
White,
swats.
Robert Mathis,
Yeah.
those guys.
So
Well, I actually
No-brainer.
disagree with that pick.
I do too.
Aaron Donald.
I picked a different pass rusher, TJ Watt.
Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the league.
I disagree.
He's the best player in the league, in my opinion.
Would you really trade Aaron Donald for TJ Watt if you're the Rams?
Yes, I would. If I was
What?
the Rams, I would.
What?
Aaron Donald
Levi,
was the best player of
dude.
the league
Levi.
last year. Aaron Donald was the MVP for like 2 years in a row. If the MVP wasn't always for a
Yeah, if
quarterback.
the MVP had to go to defense, he would have won
Aaron
it.
Donald is 3 years older than TJ Watt, which means he has less time left. And he
We're
has
not talking about that. We're not
the
talking
same
about.
what are you saying? He's
We're
going to
talking about
die?
the better
Same
year,
stats.
not the
I
better
would.
career.
Today, if I was the Rams, I would rather have TJ Watt than Aaron Donald.
What?
TJ Watt has
Have you seen what he did to
TJ
those
Watt.
Cowboys
TJ
offensive
Watt
line?
does more than Donald. Watt has 12 sacks. He also has 7 passes defended and an interception. Donald does not have an
Yes,
interception.
he has more tackles for loss. Good for him.
Interceptions
Yeah,
don't
he also
matter
has
for
more tackles for loss. I
defensive
didn't even mention that. But yeah, 5 more tackles for loss.
defensive lineman. Interceptions the worst thing it's the less important thing you could have.
That's what I'm
Doesn't
saying.
matter.
A great linebacker, in my opinion, a great
If
linebacker
TJ Watt's
is
in the
better.
conversation, Miles Garrett's in the conversation.
Yes, Miles
A
Garrett
great
is definitely third
linebacker
place.
is better than a great defensive
I don't know how Miles
end
Garrett is in this
because
conversation.
not only
I don't
Miles
have
Garrett is
Miles
100% third
they
place. I wrote
also
down 3
play
names in
pass
this
defense.
card. I wrote down Aaron Donald, TJ Watt, and Miles Garrett. Those are the 3 candidates, and those are the only
Defensive
3
ends are
options.
more
So-
important than
You guys
linebackers.
have missed 2 people. I think Alex might say one
Not
of them. Alex,
Xavier
go ahead.
Howard. Don't say it, Drew.
And as
Don't say it.
as
So,
well,
it's
TJ
not
Watt
Xavier
linebackers
Howard.
Are the
Xavier Howard.
linebackers
Don't
are
say
like
it.
the quarterback of the defense.
Do
right?
not say
Linebackers
Xavier
are
Howard.
to make
I
it
have
click.
to I have to say his name, and I gotta go with the Miami man, Xavier Howard.
Jalen Ramsey's better.
No!
Look at the
Cornerback.
way. Look at the way
Xavier
he has changed.
Howard, baby.
Look at the way he has changed the Miami defense. He has 9
Jalen
interceptions.
Ramsey
He
is
leads
better.
the league with
Jalen
interceptions.
Ramsey literally
is the
17
true number 1 wide
Less than
17
interceptions,
pass
my guy.
deflections. These are all first. 9 interceptions.
Who is he
17
playing?
pass
The
deflections.
Patriots, who have no
He
receivers. The
picked
Jets,
off Patrick
who have no
Mahomes.
Shut up.
receivers.
Shut up.
The
Patrick
Chargers,
He's
who
played
have
the Patriots
not the
once.
Chargers.
Jalen Ramsey has shut down every single
Yeah,
number 1
Jalen Ramsey
receiver.
shut down
Look
DK
at
I
Metcalf.
think a
Every
better stat to
single-
look at would be
Howard
how
hasn't
many
shut
times
down
they've actually
anybody.
been thrown to.
Guys, look at the stats. He literally leads in every statistical category above Jalen Ramsey.
He is.
Yeah,
Because
interceptions
Jalen
don't matter
Ramsey doesn't get
for
thrown to.
quarterbacks. They
Jalen
don't
Ramsey
matter.
does not
Jalen
get
Ramsey
thrown to.
doesn't get thrown to his way.
The
No,
thing
but
about
no.
cornerbacks,
People
the thing
try
about
to
cornerbacks
throw
is you can easily
Xavier
plan to
Howard.
not throw to them, and that's
Yeah.
why the best cornerbacks.
People
of
try to
last
throw on
year are no
Xavier
longer
Howard.
the best
They-
this
they-
year.
Passer rating, he leads the league in passer rating also.
What do you mean
He
least
picked
passer
up-
rating?
He picked off Mahomes.
He's a
Okay,
cornerback.
Mahomes
What do
had
you mean
1
passer
interception.
rating?
when
don't
the
matter,
quarterback
Alex.
throws the
Or
ball to his
cornerbacks,
wide
they don't
receiver,
matter.
he leads the league in the least
And also, they're
QBR.
cornerbacks.
So
Well,
And
he gets
cornerbacks
targeted
are, in
much
my
less.
opinion,
Since
the
when
most
did-
important
since when did
position on
cornerbacks
the-
get
That's
lead-
not
on the
true.
field.
Since when did
Linebackers,
cornerbacks get less
safeties, and
appreciation
defensive
than
line
defensive
are
line?
all more important than
Safeties?
cornerbacks.
What do you mean safe?
What?
Safeties
Not
are not more
linebacker.
important than
Maybe
cornerbacks.
linebackers. I don't know.
Linebackers are the quarterback of the defense. If you're a middle
That's
linebacker, you are the cornerback of the defense.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
true.
safety's more
Quarterback-
important.
Quarterback,
as
you're the
well.
one calling the
If
plays.
you have a bad cornerback, you will literally just get ran over by a guy like DK or Julio or whatever.
That's not true.
That's not true at
Jalen
all.
Ramsey
That is true.
No,
That is
no.
true.
Have you seen Jalen Ramsey versus DK and
That's what I
Julio
mean.
Jones? He plays
Just said,
physical.
you put an average cornerback. If you don't have a shutdown cornerback, DK and Julio are just gonna run on you. They're
But
just
the
gonna,
difference
That
is,
is true.
the difference is this: if you're a good cornerback, a team can plan against you, and a team can just say, "We're not going to throw it his way." If you're a really good linebacker or a really good defensive end, the team can't plan to not get rushed. The team can't plan that.
you can plan around it. Yes, you can. You can just
You
do
can
quick
double
throws.
team.
You can do different
Look,
stuff.
You can't even
Defensive-
double team Aaron Donald and TJ Watt. They will
The
break
Eagles
bodies.
did it, and they had the worst offensive line.
Levi, you put Xavier Howard on like a guy like Devante Adams. What's that team without Devante Adams? You have Aaron Rodgers, right?
And
I
Marquez
would much
Valdez
rather have
Scantling
Jalen
will
Ramsey.
get a bunch of passing yards.
Valdez Scantling. That's
He's
what
their
they're
second
going
best
with.
receiver. He's actually having a great season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So when you get to a team like the Packers and your second best receiver is Valdez Scantling, you can't just be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Devante, we're gonna ignore you this game because you have like Xavier Howard and you can't just
No,
like,
you
ignore
can.
that.
You can easily do that. That's
Oh,
my
and you
point.
can't just
You
double
can
Myles
easily
Garrett.
because
You can't
Marquez
just-
Valdez
you can't
Scantling
just
is
double
not
Myles
bad.
Garrett.
He's
You can't
not
just double
bad.
Myles Garrett. You can't just run from
That's
the
the
other
same.
side of
That's the
Myles
same
Garrett.
thing for the Rams, though. Jalen Ramsey is a better Xavier Howard.
He is. He's bigger, stronger,
He has
faster,
way
and has
worse
better
stats
football.
than every
He's better at.
That's because they don't. You don't get it, Drew.
Because no
They
one
don't
throws to him.
Nobody throws
They're
to
too
Jalen
scared
Ramsey.
to even
When the
throw
ball
the
is
ball.
when the ball is thrown to the wide receiver, he has less completions. There's a smaller passer rating.
Sherman
for the
never had very good
Because
stats. He
Jalen
was
Ramsey
always
gets
the
his completions. Jalen
his
Ramsey
way.
Drew,
gets
the
his
only
complete
times they
pick
ever
plays.
throw it Jalen
Those are
Ramsey's way is
short
when he's
accent
clearly
plays.
gotten beat. That's what I want you to understand this, Drew.
Levi, I think you're not understanding.
I-
When you throw the ball to the wide receiver that Xavier Howard's on, more times there
Yes,
will be
Drew,
an
but let me
incompletion
explain
than
that
Jalen
why.
Ramsey.
Drew, let me
So what do
explain
you
why.
understand by that?
Yeah,
No,
because
because
Jalen
Drew,
Ramsey
I-
only
Drew,
gives up completions in
I
zone
understand,
and
and
picks.
I'd like to explain why that is, because Drew
And
thinks
picks
that
and-
they're throwing the same amount to both of these guys.
Oh
He's
my-
absolutely
That's
wrong.
not my argument.
The only time a quarterback will
Then
ever
watch
throw
out.
Jalen Ramsey's way is if
Start.
Jalen Ramsey is not even close. If
Why was
Jalen
Sherman a
Ramsey
Pro
is
Bowler all
in
those
the
years?
vicinity of the receiver, they're not going to throw. Only
Bro,
if the
we're not
receiver.
talking about Richard Sherman, my
I'm just
guy.
saying, no one threw the
What are you talking about?
still the best corner in the league for a
Bro,
long time.
Jalen Ramsey's going to be a Pro Bowler. I'm not over here like, well, Jalen Ramsey isn't going to
I'm
be a
just
Pro
saying,
Bowler.
If you don't throw the ball to
Quarterbacks
someone,
take no chances against Ramsey
Oh,
unless
Levi,
it's clear
again,
they will
that's
get it
literally
complete.
no one
my
knew who
argument.
David Howard was before
Not
the
my
year, so at
argument.
the
If
start
you
of the year, he
take-
got
if you
all the
take-
balls thrown his way, and he
If
picked
you
them all off.
take 10
Then they-
random passes thrown Jalen Ramsey's way or 10 random passes thrown Xavier Howard's way, the stats show.
Jalen Ramsey
That's
got their
not
ball
what the stats show. The stats,
Yes,
no,
it
that's
is.
not.
Yes, it is.
Drew, you're conflating. You're misconflating it because quarterbacks take more chances against Xavier Howard. He's not as proven as Ramsey.
Yes, exactly.
Quarterbacks
You're
do
not
more
understanding.
chances against
So
Especially at the
Ramsey.
start of the year. At
You
the
don't
start of the year,
understand.
they were
You're literally
throwing
not
at
listening.
Xavier Howard.
That doesn't make any sense.
No,
like literally
your
makes no sense,
argument
Levi.
is flawed, and you don't see why it's flawed. You're not understanding. Let me explain this
No, look,
one more time.
Drew.
Only
Drew, all the
if
plays that-
Jalen Ramsey has clearly been beat, will a quarterback throw his way.
No, and also most of his
Xavier
yards are
Howard,
gained by
if Xavier
him playing
Howard
zone.
is a little bit beat, the quarterback will throw his way. And Xavier Howard does a great job capitalizing on opportunities and deflecting passes. Jalen Ramsey doesn't get a chance to get deflected passes and interceptions. Only if it is the best
That's not
receiver
what
who
I'm
has
saying.
clearly beat him does he get
That's not
thrown
what I'm
to.
saying.
Drew.
That's why he has
Drew,
more
listen.
completions against him. That's why he has more completions, sure. Because quarterbacks never take a chance unless it's clear they're going to get a
Wait.
completion.
Oh yeah,
Drew,
and the
listen.
quarterback is just taking so many great
Drew.
chances at Xavier Howard. It was like
They
freaking,
did.
like
At the
12
start of the season, they
interceptions.
did. At the start of the season,
Yeah,
they
and
were
he picked
taking.
him off. And they picked
Yeah.
him off.
And now they don't anymore. But at the start of the season, there was
Fine,
many
fine,
more.
fine. If your fundamental argument is that they don't throw the ball as much, and my argument is that every single statistical stat shows that Xavier Howard's better, I'll take my argument. Okay?
No,
So we can
I'm
move
saying also, look, that's not my argument.
And at the same time,
Also,
still not
Jalen
as
Ramsey
important
gets-
as Aaron Donald or
Lorenzo,
TJ Watt.
Lorenzo.
Look, when Jalen Ramsey gets thrown to, he's playing zone coverage. That means it's not his fault. It's the zone coverage they're playing's fault, which means he's giving up yardage that it's not his fault he's giving up. And he's doing it in short passing situations, which as a cornerback, you want to give up those short passing to not be faked in a double move and get it 90 yards to the house. Would you rather give up 9 yards or 99?
I mean, my argument, I guess, is like, I'll give you that. Fine. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I guess if you guys want to say that they don't throw the ball to him as much or whatever your dumb argument
That's
is,
not my argument.
whatever.
It's not a
You can
dumb
take
argument.
This is his argument. What
You can
Lorenzo was
take it,
saying is essentially
but-
what I was saying.
Lorenzo,
Quarterbacks will only throw to Jalen
No,
Ramsey when it is
you
clear
did
they
not
can get
mention
a
zone coverage
completion. If
once.
he's in
You
zone
did not
coverage, they're
mention
going to
zone
get a
coverage
completion.
once.
It's
No,
going to be
I'm
short.
mentioning that it's not that when it's zone coverage, most of his completions comes in zone coverage and short passing situations.
Yep.
That is
Alex,
not a cornerback's
they're
fault.
clearly getting bored
That
of me
is
talking.
normally
Why
not.
do you think Xavier Howard's the best defensive player of the year?
Well,
Don't do this to me, Alex.
you're gonna hate this, Drew, but I mean, hearing these other arguments,
Are
I've
you
had an-
freaking
I've had a-
joking
I've
right
had
now?
a slight opinion change,
Yes,
and I've
thank
realized
you.
that, when you look at it statistically, sure,
Drew's gone.
He left.
He left the meeting. He made him rage. He made him
He'll be
rage.
back. Oh, wow.
But also, who do you want? Do you want Xavier Howard or Jalen Ramsey, who's a
Yeah,
beast?
you're not picking Xavier Howard ever over
Yeah,
Jalen
no,
Ramsey.
I
And
would say
Jalen-
Jalen Ramsey is better than Howard, but I still think that the clear top two are Donald and Watt.
Yeah.
Donald Watt, and then I would pick Jalen Ramsey. At
Yeah,
third.
then maybe
It's
Jalen.
just-
I mean, the Rams are spoiled to have Ramsey and Donald. I mean, that is.
Yeah.
They have the best, secondary and the best non-secondary. So it's just unstoppable.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Jalen Ramsey is so athletic and so big. He can cover DK, but still go against someone with great footwork like Devante Adams.
Yeah.
There's no one who can stop him. Well,
Yeah, no,
we're gonna
Jalen.
come
I
back.
mean, when I watched them against the Rams, DK Metcalf got shut down.
Yeah, he got destroyed.
All right.
Here
So
it
I guess
comes. Look who's
so to
back.
recap, we have one Xavier Howard, one Jalen Ramsey, one T.J. Watt, one Aaron Donald, and Seth. Who did you say?
I said Aaron Donald.
So 2 Aaron Donalds, 1 T.J. Watt, 1 Howard, and 1 Alex. You said Jalen Ramsey.
You
All
know
right.
what I've learned
Yeah,
from
I
this
accept
conversation? I've learned that no one cares about stats. Like,
Shush. We're moving on.
literally.
Moving
Literally,
on.
Football is not all about
You
MVP.
could just be
stats.
like, oh, Sam Darnold's the best quarterback in the league because he has the worst talent around him. Like, you can make an argument about anything.
You actually
That's
can't
why,
make that argument because Sam Darnold actually doesn't have terrible talent.
Mhm.
Yeah, what about my boy Mims?
Your
Yeah,
argument,
Mims.
Levi, is so dumb.
What?
Okay, let's go to MVP.
Yeah, all right.
MVP.
Oh no.
Good man.
Levi, let's kick it off.
All right, for me, I have to go with Patrick Mahomes. Just watching the way that he plays, he makes the best plays. Aaron Rodgers is great, and I get that, but Patrick Mahomes is better. This year, he's better. He has more wins. He has much more passing yards. Their offense is all about passing the ball. Green Bay, more of a balanced attack, right? Rodgers, Aaron Jones, but for the Chiefs, they're all about passing the ball. They're all about Patrick Mahomes, and the way that he can just randomly get 75-yard touchdown throws to Tyreek Hill like almost once a game, it seems like. That's just so impressive to me. So I have to go with Patrick Mahomes. But I think it's
Which does do a lot to Tyreek Hill. But.
I think it is super close between Mahomes and Rodgers. And they both have the two, and in my opinion, it's the 2 best quarterbacks and the 2 best receivers, which I think it says a lot, not only about receivers and quarterbacks, I think they really do help each other, you know? Because as we said, Devante and Tyreek Hill are the 2 best receivers. I think me and Seth both agreed on that one. And not only that, Rodgers and Mahomes are the 2 best quarterbacks. So that's a interesting note.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went with Mahomes, but super close. It could change in 3 weeks. It could change.
So, for my MVP, and it was really close, I went with a guy named Jared Stidham. And you look at the way he takes control of the Patriots, man. I mean, he's a natural. Jared Stidham,
Born athlete.
born athlete. He definitely deserves MVP credits. I mean, you look at the way he played against the Chiefs. I mean, he totally shut down Patrick Mahomes. I don't know why they lost that game, but Jared
when he threw that pick against the Chiefs, that was such a great interception.
I mean, that was totally pass interference. I mean, the guy, it was such a push off, and it was bad. But Jared Stidham definitely deserves some props. But, yeah. And then I had Pat Mahomes, my Mahomie, in the second slot. So, yeah, definitely see where you're coming from.
I hate this award.
Lorenzo?
I hate this award because it's not the most valuable player. It's the best player. That's what the NFL is telling us. Like last year, I'm with you, Seahawks fan. It was Russell Wilson, the MVP.
Yes,
He was
thank you.
Best. He was the most valuable player. Not the best player, the most valuable. This year, I guess it's Patrick Mahomes because, well, he's incredible, and the NFL just likes to award it to the best player. He is the best NFL player right now.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to Patrick
if you're
Mahomes as
talking
well.
valuable, it probably isn't Mahomes. I mean, honestly, there's an argument to be made that despite being, I think, 4-9, Deshaun Watson could potentially be the most valuable player to his own team because
That is true.
without Watson, the
Deshaun is
Texans
very, very
might
good.
not have a win.
I mean,
So,
Russ is pretty valuable.
Yeah,
No, he
but I
played
will say
pretty
Russ has
poorly,
with DK and,
But I'm
and
not talking
Tyler
about
Lockett.
plain. I'm talking about if you're just talking strictly about valuable. I don't know if there's anybody more valuable than Russ.
Yeah,
I just feel like Russ actually kind of has a better team than Watson has with the Texans.
Yeah, and the difference is that Russ has double amount of wins.
Yeah, but just for me, I have Patrick Mahomes, 12-1, 33 touchdowns, 4,000 passing yards. Yeah, it's Mahomes. He's the MVP. Best player in the league.
Look at your
Aaron
argument.
Rodgers.
Look at a great player like Ben DiNucci. I mean, he was valuable to the Cowboys. I mean, look at how well he played.
Well, honestly, there's an argument made that Dak Prescott is the MVP because of how bad the Cowboys did without him.
Shush. He beat out a fifth-year starter in the name of Carson hecking Wentz. I mean, he had a great game. Honestly, Cowboys should have destroyed the Eagles that game.
This guy's like a
It was like 20-3, wasn't it?
It was 23-9. Ben DiNucci should have thrown more touchdown passes. But, I mean, look at it this way. Ben DiNucci and Garrett Gilbert, they also deserve to be up there. You know why? Because they were valuable to their team. Garrett Gilbert, okay, he almost beat the Steelers. Garrett Gilbert, a guy of the AAF. I remember watching him take whatever team he had. But dude, he played so well. And I mean, he could even be higher than Stidham at this point. I think the only thing that makes Garrett Gilbert and Stidham a little bit different is Garrett Gilbert has orange hair. And we know that Garrett Gilbert has orange hair. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with, all jokes aside, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers because I think he is more valuable than Patrick Mahomes I mean, I just think that he's playing better, especially after the 3 picks that Patrick Mahomes just gave up to the Dolphins, one being to my boy Xavier Howard. I'm not going to get into that, but, another pick by my boy. I just think that he's way more valuable. Yes, he does have a few more yards, but he does have less throws too, so he kind of balances out. He has less talent around him, worse offensive line. He doesn't have a guy named Travis Kelce. He doesn't have a guy named Tyreek Hill. He does have Devante Adams, but
the guy named Devante Adams, a guy named Aaron Jones.
He has a guy who we unanimously picked as the best receiver in the NFL, Devante Adams. So
it was not
unanimous.
unanimous.
Yeah, but that's one receiver.
Not unanimous.
That's one receiver.
It was
Robert
3-2.
Tonyan, who has like 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, he has a better running game.
Okay, guys. So according to you guys, the Chiefs have worse weapons than the.
No one said that.
No, I
they
think
have
so.
better weapons. We are just saying, there's this myth that Aaron Rodgers has no weapons. Oh, he has no weapons. That's a myth now because Devante Adams
he has
is a great weapon.
Valdez-Scantling as number 2.
Valdez-Scantling is not bad.
Very, very, very well.
Why do you guys think that Marcus Valdez-Scantling is bad?
Compared to the Chiefs.
Because he got death threats.
He's not as good as Travis Kelce, Levi.
No, I agree. Travis Kelce is one of the best is the best tight end in the NFL. No doubt about it. Patrick Mahomes is blessed to have the best tight end, and Aaron Rodgers has an average tight end. That's the one.
I'm switching picks now. Again.
To what?
Are you going to Jared Stidham? Stidham! Come on.
You
gotta come with me, man.
No. I agree. Aaron Rodgers is super close to Mahomes, especially after the last game.
No,
yeah. I just think Aaron Rodgers has less interceptions.
Carson Wentz?
He has less talent around him. He has pretty much the same amount of yards. And as just strictly valuable, if you put Derek Carr with the just a super average quarterback like Derek Carr to the Chiefs, they make the playoffs. If you put Derek Carr with the Packers, I think they're missing out on the playoffs. And that's just my honest opinion.
Really?
I mean, if you guys are...
Who would win the division?
I think they would miss the playoffs.
Yeah, so just tell me, though, who do they miss it to? Because somebody else has to win the division.
Detroit Lions.
The Vikings?
Going 9-7.
Well, Alex, speaking of the Lions, Matthew Stafford, strictly valuable. Matthew Stafford has to be in that conversation.
Okay, if we're talking about Aaron Rodgers and Patrick
Mahomes, he's not.
Most valuable players, we have to include Mike Glennon of the Jaguars. Okay? Look at the way...
No. Jake Luton.
I mean, it is...
Mike Glennon.
No, Mike Glennon.
You forget Jake Luton. I mean,
you
give all the praise to Glennon.
Luton, get gone. Okay? Luton, get gone. It's Glennon time. Okay? He looks like a 45-year-old dad who lives in suburban Texas with his 2 daughters and is divorced. Okay? He's great. He plays great football. He relies on a run game. I mean, he had 6 fantasy points.
Those 3 interceptions in the last game.
He was intercepted once. He was intercepted once. Okay? He's playing good football. He's tanking for that pick. I mean, that's what makes him valuable, okay?
Dude,
he's a valuable tank
They
card.
benched him for Minshew.
I know.
He's a valuable
You must be so happy
card.
about the news that Minshew is going to be starting their next game.
Minshew mania. Yeah, he was up there for my talk. He was up there.
Yeah. Minshew 1-6. Should we be talking about Gardner Minshew potentially most valuable? Is he in the conversation?
I think it could go to the Colts.
Guys, this argument, this is getting so dumb. I say let's do one more.
Minshew to the Colts.
On the spot, who's the most surprising player this year to you guys?
Olivia Vernon.
Who?
It's something Vernon. It's something Vernon.
Olivia Vernon.
It's something Vernon. What is it?
Look it up. Levi.
Not Cardinals. Cleveland.
Surprising player.
Probably Oh gosh, I mean, there's lots of surprising players. I guess I'll go with James Robinson on the Jaguars because I did not see that coming at all with the 1,000 yards. So, but I mean, there's been lots of surprises. But yeah, I'm gonna say James Robinson.
I'm gonna go with Darren Waller. We knew he was a good tight end from last year, but no one thought he was gonna be a top 2, top 3 tight end in the league. Raiders' #1 receiver, putting up 200-yard games, lots of touchdowns. I mean, he's playing like a old-fashioned, but then more receiving type tight end. He's a good blocker though too, and he's putting up stats.
You know, I actually just came up with another idea. I came up with another one. I think I'm gonna stick with James Robinson, but my number 2 is a tight end, not Darren Waller, but it's Rob Gronkowski.
I was gonna say Mike
Who would have
Gesicki.
thought he's gonna come back and be a top 5 tight end in the NFL?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
it's
Alright.
Olivier
debatable,
Vernon.
Most
Yeah,
surprising
Olivier
player.
Vernon. I think you're right. He's in the Browns.
Yeah, he's in the
Most
Browns. He's
surprising
been
player.
playing amazingly. He's just
What is he?
overshadowed
What
by
is
Miles
that?
Garrett.
I've literally never heard of this guy. What
He's
is
a defensive tackle. Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle.
He's been incredible.
He's been really good.
All right.
Um,
Most surprising player. You got to make a case for
Jalen
him.
Reagor.
He played 2 great games. We're going with my man Ben DiNucci. Okay, look, 23. Look, he had a 53.3 pass completion. All right, 219 yards, no picks. He was not picked off once. He had a 67.9 passer rating. You know what Carson Wentz's passer rating is right now? Carson Wentz has a 49.6 QB rating. Okay. Ben DiNucci came in. Look, he should have won so many more games. Okay, we can all agree on that. He is a good player. Okay, coming out of where is he coming out of? The Bulldogs. Virginia.
nice.
Coming out of France.
Anyway,
We'll just say that.
Ben DiNucci, a 7th round pick, definitely deserves some props. Surprising player, surprising choice by Jerry Jones. I think they should have put it, like, honestly, I think he should have stayed in. Like, the way he was playing against some of those defenses, I mean, he showed some promise. I mean, even though it was more underneath passes.
Yeah, those 9 points
definitely-
against the Eagles. I mean, I was so impressed by that.
I mean, he got him into field goal range. I mean, that's great.
You know, when you have receivers like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, I'm expecting you to get at least 9 points, maybe even less. So the fact that he got 9,
Yeah.
even with such terrible receivers like CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup,
And Ezekiel Elliott, that guy
he had no
sucks.
weapons.
Sorry, he came out of James Madison. There we go.
Okay, I'm
James
gonna
Madison.
say Lamar Jackson is really surprising because
In a bad way.
he came off MVP type season and he was really underwhelming this year.
Not type
Last-
season. He came off an MVP season.
He also came off an MVP type season. I mean, I was right.
Russell Wilson.
Okay,
was-
sure, yeah, but
But yes, he came off an MVP season, and I felt like last year, every single week he had a highlight play. And this year, I haven't seen many, to be completely honest.
well,
And
today
it's-
was a start. Today was definitely a
Oh,
start.
today he played great. Yeah.
He first off, lots of rushing yards. Second off, he gets cramps. 4th and 4, runs out of the tunnel, comes in and does a touchdown pass. That's legendary. That's actually legendary.
Yeah, it is. Okay, guys.
Also, some most surprising players.
I'm not going to listen
You
to
know,
Alex. It's probably going to Trace McSorley.
It's not
Yeah,
football.
I-
It's not football, but it's also is football. We had Jermaine Bala. You know, Juventus
Okay,
beating
thank you guys for
Genoa
watching.
3-1.
Alex is dumb.
I mean,
Please like, subscribe, and
No, Alex is
comment.
bringing
wait,
comedy
I
to
got-
our channel. This is good. This is
And,
good.
and comment, do you want to see Lorenzo and Alex again? Because we certainly would love to have
I
them
think we
back.
should.
want to see
bring
Ben
him back.
DiNucci again. Vote in
Shut
the
up.
poll.
Okay,
Vote in the
thank you
poll.
guys for
Top
watching,
left corner.
and
Jared stood up for
peace
MVP.
out.
They're
rankings.
not good enough
All
to make
right.